Thank you for tuning in to RGCWV, Random Geek Culture in West Virginia. With me tonight is the FM, Mike Stewart, Todd Ryder, and I wanted to talk to them about the album, about the things that they've had going on. Wanted to talk to them about their process and how they do all that. So, you guys excited?
Yeah,
sure,
this is cool.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk about music.
Yeah. Well, I love hearing both of you guys' opinions on music. It's a whole
from very different places.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I focus on geek culture that's, the fringe areas, the things that you don't necessarily think about all the time when you talk about geek culture, but it's something that somebody can totally geek out about, certain types of music, certain, even processes or even certain pieces of new hardware that's coming out. So, and even the older stuff too. So anyway. So let's see. Oh yeah, here's a good one. So I wrote down. You guys have had a lot of music projects over the years, and groups, events, concerts. What stands out to you as? And I'm not just talking about the FM, but overall, what stands out to you as one of your favorites?
Venues?
Yeah.
Or favorites at like shows.
Bands, shows.
Okay,
Bands.
for me, when I was thinking about this, that for stuff that you guys have done, when you burnt that piano.
I've got tons of silly stuff like that.
That picture's funny too because Michael's standing right next to that piano. You could just see him
Really
melting.
Where's the? We sold out 123 Pleasant Street for New Year's.
That was a great show. That was a good time.
That was a good. It was like. That was the only time I ever felt like I might be able to crowd surf, but I didn't have the balls to do it.
That was the Ultimatums in its heyday.
That was the Ultimatums.
Yeah. Okay.
So Todd and I, right? Ultimatums, Skinnies before that.
My favorite project is still 8-Track Trebuchet, which was kind of like a hardcore.
Okay.
It was after I
kind of thing.
After we closed the Book and Bean.
Oh,
I had some songs that I had written out of that, and I was really angry about life in general, like super disappointed. I was like, I'm not going to retire as a hippie coffee house owner. I have to get a real job or whatever. But there was way more aggressive music than I had ever written.
Right.
Some of it's been too aggressive to do with other projects, actually.
We are planning on bringing some of it back, though.
We will have recordings of everything I've written ever.
None of it's ever been produced, but some of those songs are worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, here's a good one. How does living in West Virginia help channel your music?
I mean, personally, I was raised around country and western and bluegrass, so I have a huge appreciation for that, and it definitely formed how I behave on stage. Watching those kinds of bands when I was a kid, the very casual nature of their presentation, I do that for sure, and that's old timey like West Virginia bluegrass,
Right.
Just a dude playing a fiddle on his arm, that kind of thing, and then like trying to play gigs in this market in West Virginia over the course of 25 years or more has been a unique challenge. I write music, and at least back in the day, not so much now, most of the bar gigs wanted cover songs, and that's just the culture.
And it's still that way.
And then the material that I'm writing didn't really fit any other thing that had been popular at any time for around here. Like,
Right.
There's a lot of country and western. There's a lot of metal around here. Morgantown's got a decent indie music scene.
Yeah, more than you'd think of.
Yeah, so I essentially worked really hard to break into the Morgantown, be able to play in Morgantown, and then around here just play as many originals as people would tolerate.
Fairmont's never had a proper venue for original music. So.
Venue, yeah.
Right.
So we'd always have to go somewhere else to do a proper 45-minute original set. Otherwise, I'm filling 4 hours of you got Johnny Cash and then one of my songs and then the Cranberries and then Yeah, it's unique to be to do original music around here. That's for sure.
One of the shows that you did that I do remember, that it was a really good mix. It was a fantastic show, and I don't know if you remember it when you did the Gold Rush.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was such.
Did the Whitney Houston send up?
Oh my God, the Gold Rush was such. So yeah, like the Gold Rush, like out of nowhere, this place that is what it is. Like it's like a honky tonk. It's like you expect bottles being thrown and stuff, and we roll up in there with a 9-person horn band, and they freaking loved it. It was so great.
It was fire.
Of course, you have to drive through Monongah and back through Monongah.
To be fair, though, they still like the set breaks more where they got their dance tunes on.
Well, yeah, we'd take a break, and they would play 90s hip-hop.
Yeah.
In the middle. And so people would just sit and watch us. They didn't know how to respond to the music, but they loved it. And then whenever the dance music came on during our breaks, everybody's on the dance floor, including us, dancing with each other, mostly, because we all had girlfriends and wives.
I just get made fun of every time I try to dance.
I gotta tell you, when you guys had your full set of horns and everything, that just was like...
It's a big sound.
It was helping me extend my love for... in college, I loved ska.
Nice.
And so it was just like... It was kind of extending that a little bit, keeping it alive a little bit.
That phenomenon in the 90s and 2000s is kind of... Because I got into jazz young, right? So I loved those kinds of sounds. And then in the 90s, like Squirrel Nut Zippers, which it wouldn't be ska, you had a lot of like horn...
The big band swing.
Like the swing thing came around, Cherry Pop and Tatties and stuff like that, right? And I was like, oh my God, the stuff I like is on pop radio right now for a year? But I got really excited about all this. But yeah, essentially the ultimatum was like trying to bring all those influences of all that horn music I'd listened to into one place. And then eventually, so like when we first started, all the songs I wrote were kind of archetypical 60s soul songs, and the lyrics were that, but we called it dirty soul because there was cussing and objectification and
or dirty Motown.
Right, yeah. But then eventually I started writing more complex songs for that band, and it kind of changed into more of a indie band with horns, I guess, before we had to disband.
It was an indie band the whole time, but the soul of it was
and the way I sing.
So, being based in Fairmont, West Virginia, I gotta ask, how do you feel that has either helped or hindered your opportunities, but also your inspirations?
I wouldn't want to talk shit on Fairmont. It's more so like, I would say for me, sorry if I'm stepping on you. For me, it's like, I kept myself in Fairmont. Things would have been different if I did what I did and have done what I've done in Brooklyn. But I love Fairmont, and I love my house, and I love the community, and I love the challenge of playing some basic covers. And then I love the challenge of wooing people over that had been like older people, the boomers, trying to woo them into original songs they'd never heard while peppering in stuff that I thought was cool, but still a cover song. Like, I'm pandering, but I think it's neat. Like, we had a cover band called the Skinnies as well, Todd played in. And it was literally like, we wouldn't rehearse. Sometimes I'd just bring chords and lyrics, and it was on the radio. These guys were all good enough to just play it. But the point was to try to find really weird cover songs and then present them to people who are used to Mustang Sally, now has to appreciate a blues version of Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? Like, I really... These guys give me hell about booking like really terrible shows and really not even venues.
Yeah.
And like the people are like, they didn't even know how to react to music being in their space. But I mean, that I really have enjoyed that out of my life. Like, my best stories are probably from the worst gigs I've ever played. Hands
right.
I would say that art of any kind, and it's probably not specific to Fairmont, but generalization for West Virginia is just not appreciated. Or, I have that problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many areas or even venues that you're just it has a synopsis of being edgy, of having that like the Purple Fiddle. You know, where you're expecting to hear something new and fresh.
That's what you
out
go
in the
there
middle
for.
of nowhere.
Yeah.
Take Palatine Park. That place will be full all summer long with cover bands, and people will come to see that. But, you know, you get us up there on a Saturday afternoon, who's going to show up? Whoever we bring.
Yeah. Which we did one time, and it was not packed.
No, yeah.
It was. But I was happy with the turnout.
But then, of course, the time at the WaveTech that you guys did over at the WaveTech venue. I remember there was a lot of people there.
Which one was that? Because I've done several.
Oh gosh, that was
A while back too.
Bella was about 5, so almost 10 years ago.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. Okay. Why the FM? Is that a reference to radio or is that a reference to Fairmont?
What do you think? I never really thought. I mean, I know what I thought in my head.
I know what it is because of why he chose it. It's frequency modulation.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a frequency modulation, and then we were going to be a synth band
Yeah.
too. So yeah, and it's a double entendre really. So FM dial, which people are familiar with, and you know, just maybe it sounds like what you would expect off of the FM dial, but not, and then it not be.
Yeah.
Because you don't really hear what we do.
Yeah, and then of course the logo and everything, the circuit board. And,
Correct.
yeah, I always thought that was kind of clever. You know, the circuit board.
One also relates to a certain kind of synthesis, and the irony for me is it's the kind I don't like. FM synthesis versus analog synthesis.
Yeah, right. Yamaha is known for a certain kind of synthesis that is that you hear on like Belle Biv DeVoe records, and a lot of people love it and a lot of people hate it. I'm not a huge fan, honestly.
The 80s came around and the DX7 shows up and everybody decides, well, we don't need to score this with like actual instruments. We got a DX7.
That's right. Michael Jackson.
Or Prince.
There.
Yeah. Okay, so, this is a good one. So, what inspires you as an artist? And I'm not just talking about music, I'm talking about paintings, landscapes, hot bean water.
Hot bean water.
That's tough for me because I don't know. He's more creative than I am as a songwriter. My one and only talent really is I can just drop a hook out of my butt cheeks at will.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but why? Actually,
Well, I have no idea.
Right.
That's just what I'm good at.
It's one of those viscous things that's just like tenuous. You can't.
I don't think there's any kind of inspiration.
And-
I've listened to a lot of pop.
for that matter with Todd, like I've moved him around on different positions in every band. I mean, at least bass guitar, keys proper, organ, synth, and then bass synth. Which, so I don't know. It's just it's so incredible. Like to have him in all those roles and know that I can rely on him to create that melodic line at any time. So like I have like in the FM, Jonah's kind of my chord guy, Jacob's kind of my noise guy. I try to keep my contribution like reasonable, and then Aaron is drums and samples. So like we're all kind of like melodically traditional to some degree, except for Todd and Jacob. I think are responsible for. Todd is like the hook, like everything he does is hooky. It's just a bass line. He could totally just go but no, he's a woo wee wee woo wah wee woo wah woo woo
or something somewhere.
My inspiration for me though, as an instrumentalist, I tend to learn something to the degree that where I can make the sounds that I like, and then I get bored, so then I will teach myself a new instrument. Some I don't keep up with, like I can't really play trumpet well anymore or clarinet well anymore, but like I learned harmonica first and then got where I wanted to that and was like, well, guitar strings are cheaper than replacing harmonicas, and then piano, like I'm really still working. I'll probably be working on piano for the rest of my life. I couldn't give a shit to learn any more about guitar, honestly. But and then the synthesizer thing that I started with the FM was because that was like almost like a final frontier of why are all these knobs here and how do they work, and just a challenge. As far as a writer, typically I would feel like an injustice or or I would be upset about something, or angry about something, or super happy about something. And those kinds of things like create a feeling in you that you can't always define. And I've not just music, I've written my entire life. Like as a kid, I journaled like feverishly, and I always got a kick out of the way words work together, and not so much like just the actual definition of any given word put together to mean a static sentence, but to manipulate the connotations of any given word where it has meaning beyond its basic definition. Like certain words would be used in this context, even though the meaning could be other things. You typically only use that word here because it means in typical use it means so much more. So I'd mess with those the contextual nature of any given word and put them all together so the sentence makes sense, and then the connotation of all the words shoved together makes sense as well. But it broadens the sense that it makes to affect more people, I guess, in an effort to take like that feeling and then explain it in a way that you've never heard it explained, I guess.
How many times have you been asked, like somebody says, this is what I think your song means, and they've been right? Lyric-wise.
That's a good one. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think on any so the goal is for any given song to have multiple reasons. 8-Track's an example of where the song is what it was. There are certain songs with the Ultimatums where the song is what it is. The later stuff, the Ultimatums, and then the FM material is a little more abstract. And my early stuff, where I started kind of writing that way, is very abstract, to the point that I think I was just losing people. But I mean, at any level that you can understand it, typically they're right. You know, they're not totally off base. But the neat thing that happens with that is the thing that they're right about is something that nobody had ever said that they thought about it. And it's not the basic sentence. They understand what I'm saying aside from the basic meaning of the basic sentence. They kind of, like when I'm doing my job right, which I don't always do. Maybe a third of my songs actually really function. I don't, Lord knows how to know. But yeah, they'll like say something where they get it on a level that I thought maybe only I would ever really understand. Mm-hmm. But they pick up on it. So maybe I was like, well, I must have done that right. At least that one, you know.
Chicken Head, for example.
That one's pretty much straight up. Yeah, that's it. It is what it means. Except for the fact that Chicken Head, the song, is not about chickens.
I'm aware.
I can probably discern what that one's about. Actually, you know what? You got me thinking about something else I didn't even write down. Talking about inspiration, when did you start? Because you said you've been writing for a real long time. When did you start using large canvas and Sharpie markers?
Oh, that would have been FM. I probably couldn't give you a year because I'm not good with dates or any of that. But
you were using that shit back in the Ultimatums.
You've been using it for a long time.
Probably started the Ultimatums with that. What would happen is that I had a regular notebook for every other project and just regular notebook paper, whatever. But then with the Ultimatums, we would arrange the songs all together. I mean, I would come in with ideas, and usually we'd have some horn parts written, ready to go based on those ideas. But while we would arrange, any given person, like we're a democracy, any given person, it was another thing that I was trying to learn because I used to be a taskmaster with bands. Like with $60, I kind of whatever.
Oh, $60. That's a.
But bringing up old shit.
But yeah, with the Ultimatums, it was more so people would shout ideas at me, and we would run it. And if we agreed on it, I would make notes. So the song usually only occupies about yay. But then the margins, yeah, and I had to come up with like a convention of the way I would write that so people could look over my shoulder and play along, even though they hadn't never seen this. But yeah, sometimes they get crazy. Like there's one that has blood on it from the Ultimatums because we did it, but it's not real blood. Yeah, we were doing the music video for that song.
The rams or sheep's blood?
Channel. No, it was just fake blood.
Yeah, okay.
So like the video was. us playing the song, and then like Matt does something, and I get pissed, and then like we get in a fight, and then everybody like fights
Starts a
each
chain
other.
reaction of violence until we're all dead.
Yeah, and we all die. And some of the fake blood that we used for the video shoot got all over the music, and I just kept it because that's rad.
That's fantastic. That's right. Okay. Actually, what? I don't know. This might be a big a loaded question. What song, and not necessarily FMs, though it could be. What song are you most proud of?
Oh, I remember.
And this is for either one of you, or both of you, or whatever.
Oh, sure.
Or his song, so it's his question.
No,
I
yeah.
have my favorites.
I mean, as a writer, I think one of my favorite songs, because I did read your questions beforehand.
No, that's fine.
And that one
that's why I send them.
Yeah, that one I was like, I might want to think about that for a minute. And what I came up with was the Symposium, which was second album, or might have been
It was on first album.
First album, because it was a new direction for the band as far as content, and I had read Plato, and it really moved me because it kind of talked about things that are in line with the way I kind of like operate mentally, anyways. And I just got it into a song, and I thought lyrically and execution-wise, our arrangement was like really spot on with that.
Yeah, so follow up. Did you feel about it that way when it was written or after it was arranged and performed?
I was happy with that song as soon as I wrote it.
Yeah.
And then you guys knocked it right out of the fucking park.
Because the interesting thing about Michael as a songwriter, he brings the songs to the band, and they are all just solo country songs.
that one is probably an exception to the rule. But yeah, that like bow, bow, bow. Man, dude, when you 9 guys behind you talking about the power of a band that big, and we played loud. We were like a rock band with horns, so it was loud in general. That song has this down, 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 da 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 da, bow. Like if you're in front of all those guys and you like, and that's the way I would move around on stage, just bow, down, down. It's like, are you not pleased? You know what I mean? It's such a cool moment. But yeah, that song in particular, I really always super fond of. I'm glad I got it out in the world.
All right. How do you guys discover new music?
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
I don't. Honestly, I don't. So, sometimes Jacob will turn me on to something because he's still actively, voraciously trying to take it all in.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was a 90s underground kid, and then I was a bluegrass kid till I was an adult, and then as an adult, I've been playing with him since. And, like, if I'm riding around in the car, I've got talk radio on, dude. I'm not trying to find new music.
Okay.
I always go back to my old favorites. And, you know, I'll hear stuff that I like or whatever. Do I actively seek it out and then listen to it later? Not really.
And I mean, and the reason why I ask, because we're living in an information age where there's just so much information that too many things get lost in the wash. Too many things just don't get heard, don't get listened to. And I myself try to find new ways to discover new music, but I always end up circling back around to the same exact thing, and I'm like, why am I even doing
Well,
this?
sometimes the algorithms work for you that way if you're, you know,
Right.
they'll try and at least give you the genre, and you like it or you don't, but some of it you will.
Yeah, I typically listen. I stream I actually legitimately listen to music pretty much 24 as long as I'm awake. During my workday or whatever, there's music on. The algorithm, sometimes it gets it, and I listen to Sirius radio in the car. Mm-hmm. So the playlist there, and I typically listen to Indie Channel, XMU. You'll hear something on there that I don't get from Apple Music, and I've used Apple, Spotify, and Pandora. Using Apple right now, and I'll kind of switch if I get bored. But sometimes the algorithm gets it, unless if you feed it stuff, or if I feed it stuff that I listened to way back in the day, it'll diverge a bit. I still kind of feel like at the end of the day, I'm kind of being fed the same thing a lot. Yeah. No matter how much I try to mess with it. So every once in a while a song will come on and that I have not heard, and then I'll go look them up, listen to their whole album, and that helps the algorithm kind of play me more stuff from that genre.
Right.
But yeah, it's all over and yet somehow still difficult because there's so much all the time
See, I
to
use
find new stuff.
I use Google or it's YouTube Music now,
Yeah.
but they just rolled out with something where you can actually create a station that it will actually give you new music, and half of the time I end up just listening to the same thing over and over and over again. But then there's been some bands that I've listened to here recently that actually trying to remember the names of them, but I've gotten new music that way. But
Like he mentioned too, there's several bands in the studio that are in and out, and they all come from different places, and all of them are young. All the bands in here are generally really young, so they've come up being exposed to stuff that we were exposed to as far as classic music, which could mean the Talking Heads, to whatever they. It's really interesting to experience young people finding music and then asking you about it, and it was something that you listened to like 40 years ago on the bus.
Oh man!
But like somehow they still find it, which is cool.
I had a experience like that here not too long ago. I was working, and one of the guys I was working with, I'm singing all the time. That's just a habit of mine.
Sure.
When I'm actually thinking about something, when I'm working on a computer, and I was singing, and my buddy goes, "Man, I love Disturbed," and I'm like, "Where the hell did that come from?" And he's like, "You're singing Land of Confusion."
Really?
And I'm like, "Yeah, what does that have to do with Disturbed?" And he's like, and the funny thing is,
These
he's
are
a
the things we're
huge
given.
Phil Collins fan.
Nice.
The guy's a huge didn't even know about Genesis at all.
What?
Yeah. So I opened up his mind. Actually, I disturbed him. I disturbed him a little bit because I showed him the video.
Oh
How
wow.
good is that video?
And he's like, I feel dirty. Yeah, it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No jacket required or get out.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Here's a good one. What bands have influenced you over the years? And yeah, I mean, like, you might have been doing one thing and let me frame this question. You've been doing something completely in one direction, and you listen to that band, and it changes how you do things going forward.
I could probably give you 2 examples per decade.
Give me.
Yeah.
70s would be like, let's say Queen and Bowie.
Okay.
80s would be like Prince and Michael Jackson.
Hollow Notes.
90s would be, for me, the Guided by Voices and Brainiac.
Ben Folds.
2000s, you're looking at stuff like, well, that was a whole trend when the Shins became a thing, and then all the bands sounded
That
like
was
that.
a sea
Shins
change
was
for me.
great.
Beck.
And then like
Beck.
you start Beck. You start getting into the 2010s era, and I kind of tuned out after that.
Yeah, 2010s. What is that? Where are we at now? 24. So 10s. I don't know. Yeah, I can't. Well, yeah, I'm just terrible
What
with
stuff
dates,
comes out for
honestly.
you like that's like Wet Leg or any of that stuff that has the poppy groove with the synths behind it and
Yeah.
the beats and whatnot.
Yeah, I think I'm a closet pop fan, but it has to be distilled a certain way for me to
Right.
like it had lyric content.
Instrumentation is a big part of that.
But I really do. I'm a sucker for pop sensibilities in songs.
Like Taylor Swift.
I cover Taylor Swift. If you change the, I mean, like I'm not a pop fan of that. I respect Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
as an artist and a musician. That's not what I
Kinda hard not
listen
to.
Except for like I'm like, how about if I take something that she does? We used to do Britney Spears all the time too. Like same thing. It's like, well, that's super duper pop. But what if I take it and just play it a different way? The lyrics even feel different when you do it. Like if I'm doing what is it?
We did
Shake It Off. Yeah, Shake It Off is way different with the dude singing it in a rock band.
Mm-hmm.
You know
I would
what
like
mean?
to hear that in industrial techno.
Like Ministry.
If that whole table over there was set up, I could probably do that for you in about 10 minutes.
All right. Okay. Here's a good one. Okay. You guys are both fathers. Do you help steer your kids' musical taste in a certain direction? Like, hey, check out this band? Or do you want them to kind of form their own opinions on music organically?
I do not. I do not try to influence that.
I very much do. Yeah, I mean, not like I want to bend my son's ear to my will, but you know, like when he was a baby, I mean, as soon as he could like remember things, I wanted him to know who Biggie Smalls was. I wanted him to know who Tupac was. You know, like who Ray Charles was. Like if it came on the radio, I would like turn it up and be like, "Dude, have you heard this yet? Because this was a big deal." That kind of thing. I would always do that, you know. But at the same time, as he got older and
That's not
started
influence, though. That's more
exposure,
awareness, exposure.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say I'd try to change his opinion. Well, again, to continue, if he's into something, he does the same.
Yeah.
Like one time, so a lot of what, especially when he was much younger, like middle school, he's listening to middle school music, and I just happen to love hip hop, and I happen to love synthesizers. So even if it wasn't, you know, like trap's kind of a bizarre genre, like mumble rap was a thing. There's like a lot of stuff that I'm not necessarily into, but if he was into it, I would give it a try for sure, and try to maybe find, like Lil Yachty is doing a lot of really incredible stuff right now. But one day he was like, "Dad, you got to listen to this song," and this is only like last year. It was Sade. I was like, "Boy, you're trying to tell me about Sade?" I was like, "I think I may have Children by Sade somewhere else, and you're not one of them."
I can definitely understand that, because I mean, over the years I've tried to show Bella, you know, because I'm more of a, you know, movie TV guy.
Sure.
And I've tried to show Bella a few of those things, but I've also wanted her to, you know, do stuff organically.
Right.
And like when, what was it? She was like 8. She was like 8, and she had access to Hulu, and come to find out, over the course of like 2 months, she like got obsessed and watched every single episode of the Peanuts, because they had like a whole show and everything.
What'd she like about it? What caught her, you think?
I want to say that, well, Cassie is very into Peanuts as well, and she likes Snoopy, and but she didn't really show her the shows or whatever, but we did still watch the Christmas special.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, and so when Bella found that was on there, she just took off.
When she was super young?
Yeah, when she was about 8, 7, 8.
Yeah, no, that's neat.
And now she's as almost as of a Ninja Turtles connoisseur as I am.
Nice.
In fact, just the other day, you'll love this. So you're familiar with the Ninja Turtles.
That's my brother's.
Yeah, so there was a graphic novel by the original creators.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've read
Which I did not read it, but that's what started the cartoon, right? The graphic novel.
Well, the comic book started the cartoon.
Yeah, the comic book started the cartoon.
They did a graphic novel
No,
afterwards?
but there's a graphic novel they just came out with like a year or two ago.
Really?
It's The Last Ronin. It's fantastic.
That sounds amazing.
It's one of my favorite novels of all time.
By the original creators?
Yeah, by the original creators.
Wow.
And one of the reasons why they called it The Last Ronin is because they were about to lose the rights to make comics based on the Ninja Turtles, because Paramount owns it.
Yeah.
So that there was kind of a double meaning and everything, because there was only one turtle left. Anyway, I'm going through our Amazon cart one time, and I see that The Last Ronin is in our Amazon cart, and I'm like, "Cassie, why did you add this? Is this something you're giving me, you know, later, and I wasn't supposed to see it?" And she's like, "No, Bella added that to the cart." I'm like, "What?" So Bella herself found it organically, and yeah.
Is it a spoiler if you say who the last turtle is?
Yes.
Fair, because I may actually.
No, it's really fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's like half of the gimmick. because the whole comic or the whole graphic novel is really good.
Right.
But the part of the intrigue is which turtle is it? Which turtle is it? Well, anyway, so Paramount just gave them lease to continue making that comic series.
Right on. That's awesome.
So it's
But,
really
like,
great.
The cartoons that were out at the time. I mean, there was a Nickelodeon was doing a good job. They showed up for work in the late '90s.
Yeah.
But what, like my generation, the last cool thing we had seen, aside from just stuff that was like Transformers, which are garbage actual.
Just commercial.
Michael Bay just ruined it.
You know what I mean? But yeah, those cartoons were not great. And Scooby-Doo, Hanna-Barbera sucked, and like Warner
Talk
Brothers.
about Space Ghost like that.
Well, no, they can
Coast to coast, though.
But that was the thing, like to take that and like make it not suck.
How great was Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law? I mean, come on, how great
It
was
was
that
genius. But none of the Ninja Turtles were like legit. Like it was actually funny, and it was just a normal ass Saturday morning cartoon. But it was way different in tone because of the comic book.
Did you
tone.
watch the 2012 Ninja Turtle series? That one's really good.
Is it really
that
good?
one's on Netflix. That one's on Netflix, and that
Nice.
one's really good. That one's CG.
I have seen images of it. I
Yeah,
just not
yeah.
watched it.
It's actually because I grew up with the '80s ones, but that one's my favorite
Fair
cartoon.
enough.
So,
That's cool.
all right. Actually, I have one last question that I've written down. Does today's music, popular music, worry you or give you hope for the future of music?
I couldn't care less. I don't think it's ever changed. Pop has always been pop. The underground's always been underground. Soul's never gone anywhere. Rap hasn't gone anywhere. Country hasn't gone anywhere. It's kind of evolving along the. It makes sense the way it's going.
Right.
I never got, it never scared me because, like, I mean, even in the 80s, like, I knew I didn't like the music that they played on the bus. But I also knew that there was other music, like, there are tons of British bands, with tons of European stuff in the 80s that was amazing that didn't get played on the bus, which is where I heard. So I live so far out. Mom and Dad had some records, but I got all the normal bullshit stations, and I got one station from Pittsburgh that played oldies. Back then, oldies were 40s, 50s, 60s. And then 70s was too new, right? So I'm listening to old music. And that turned my head upside down because I'd never heard that either. So I wouldn't say I was ever steeped in pop music aside from it. It was always just background nonsense that I didn't care about. I mean, like Hall & Oates was on the bus. Didn't give a shit about Hall & Oates. Didn't give a shit about Lionel Richie and stuff like that. But then, like later in life, I realized that I just didn't like it because it was pop music, and I learned that.
And now you're
lesson.
dancing on the ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, like, Lionel Richie, like, oh my God, that's great stuff. Like Hall & Oates, untouchable. Like Hall & Oates is such a great band, and I thought it was just like bullshit pop music, but no, like they were like groundbreaking. I think it was like the 2000s before I realized that it was like, all right, Michael, calm down. It's okay to just like music because you like it. You don't, and I'm still really guilty of hating music just on principle, but which is unfortunate. But no, pop music has always done what it does, and people listen to music for different reasons. Some folks totally happy to just clean their house and have something on, have the cable television, whatever station on, and that's fine. Like, not everybody listen. I mean, I've just been cursed with. I pick apart everything I listen to, absolutely everything I listen to, which is a curse because that means a lot of times I can't stand something. But it also means that it can open me up. I don't just listen to a genre. I just listen to things that I think are interesting or compelling. So it could be from any genre. So a pop song could come on and totally be like, what is this? Like she's saying something. And these instruments I've never heard before. And not every chorus line ends with tonight or what you're doing tonight. Pop music's all right. They're doing fine. They're making their money.
Yeah.
We'll do the others.
It's never going away because that's what hits the radio or radio.
whatever
Like say like a
reason,
dinosaur, but
why is pop music popular music supposed to be popular? What if all kinds of other genres were popular?
Well, the
It's just
industry
a
doesn't
weird
work
little-
that way anymore. Like there's another Taylor Swift out there somewhere, but you'll never know. Unless,
Right.
unless some corporate entity sees her and drags her into it.
Yeah, I mean, but there's so much content that is super available. That like the local music scene is so different now than before. Like it's so easy to record music. Like digital recording has changed the world, and then distribution. Like
Anybody can
Like
put
we're
their
actually
stuff out
doing
now.
we're doing way better
You
than I
needed
thought.
a label to get it out before that.
Yeah, and then they would bend you over a chair on money. Like huge bands found out that they were paying out of pocket for the jewel cases that the CDs went into, and then they get off tour and have no money left because the label made them pay for everything.
Yeah.
So that's going away, but it is hard. Like local smaller time musicians, you have to, if you really want to do it, you have to tour. You have to play shows. You have to sell merch.
Yeah.
It's
You gotta sell your soul to
It's
it.
real work. You have to have a TikTok. I mean,
No, I'm not doing that.
I got like.
Oh, maybe
3
I can
views on
splice one of these clips into TikTok. That's what I did for my last interview. It was like
Nice.
it was like 500 views.
That's awesome. Really? That's really good. I got like 3 views on that one. Like.
Oh, yeah,
That's
my
awesome.
my one video that I did with Dan Desmond, the local comedian. He actually was telling a story, so I spliced it up into into a 1-minute clip and put it up on Shorts because the
Nice.
video wasn't getting any views.
Yeah.
I was like sitting like 20 views total,
Right.
and I was like, "What can I do?" And then I was talking to Mike Mallow,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Hey, how about you try doing a Shorts?" So
Yeah.
I spliced it up and I threw it on there, and the algorithm, or not the algorithm, the analytics actually told me that more than half of the people that saw it stayed to watch it.
Watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
And it's only a minute long, so it's like, why not watch it? And so I had a
yeah.
bunch of people come from that to watch the actual video. So
I'm
it's
more of a
cool.
long form YouTube guy myself, but yeah,
I am
apparently
too.
that's a big deal. We've gotten a lot of traction out of Instagram. Facebook is a little more of an older generation kind of thing, but
Yeah, only grandma is on Facebook now.
So if my mom wants to know what I'm doing, like I make sure I have a Facebook post, but
Right.
otherwise I've kicking and screaming. I don't really enjoy social media, but I've kicking and screaming had to like create content, and I like it. That's why we were talking about video editing. I got into that because it's just one more thing I don't know how to do, and I was like, well, that's real hard. Let's figure out how to do that. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing it if I find the time. It's
Well,
It's a hard process.
if you ever want to go back to DaVinci, do yourself a favor, because there's like 5 different pages. Just pick a page and stay on that, because there's different ways to edit with different pages. Just learn that one page and then expand out.
right on.
So
Different workflows per page.
yeah, exactly,
Okay.
Really?
exactly, yeah.
I
I go
walk you through those different pages as like this is a part of the process, and then you go to the next page, and this is
no, but there's a bunch of YouTube videos.
different ways to look at the same.
Yeah, exactly. There's different ways to look at it, different ways to import.
I'm definitely
those
familiar
clips.
with that with music editing software.
Yeah.
You can do one for mastering, you can do one for heavy editing, you can do one for video editing, but you can't edit the video.
The center page for DaVinci is very similar to Audacity.
Yeah, with the linear.
Yeah, with the linear and everything's kind of there, and you can mute different channels and stuff, and you got a slider on the one
for
side
doing your
for
editing.
yeah.
Then say if you're doing like some cinematography kind of stuff, there would be another page to just deal with color and.
Yeah, and also even After Effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
it can get very deep in the weeds, and DaVinci can be as broad and as narrow as you need it.
Fair enough.
So, anyway, guys, I have really enjoyed doing all of this. This was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it.
So, we're going to move on to the next portion, the geek outs. So, Todd, what are you geeking out right now?
I only kind of geek out on sci-fi.
Okay.
So, the last thing I played, which I really liked, was Lazapi. That was great because I played all the FromSoft games.
I played the
and that
demo,
was-
and I
it-
really liked
It
it.
harkens back to what Bloodborne was.
Okay.
And, a little different frameworks. Not as hard, but it looks, so I geek out on that kind of thing. I'm doing Zelda now because somebody bought it for me because I won't pay full price for it. Here's the
$60.
Kingdom, so.
70.
Is it really?
It's 70 now.
That's so great.
And, I'm doing the paces through it, but I gotta tell you, man, that Zelda game is starting to bore the shit out of me. With just all that running around.
Yeah.
Sci-fi television, though, I always geek out on that. The Expanse, come on. How great is that show?
I only watched the first season because I only read the first book, and I was like, yeah, they did great. Now I'll wait until they're done, and then actually finish watching the whole show.
I might do that. I got into it when they start getting more political. Like
Yeah.
once they got through the what are they?
They call them the Rings.
Yeah, once they got through there, I kind of checked out. But it was great. So I'm coming with you. I might wait till they're done and then like binge it.
It's like Walking Dead. Walking Dead. I watched the first 3 seasons, and I was like, I'm getting way too invested in the show. I'm gonna wait till they're done. And now they have a whole bunch of spin-offs, so I probably will never watch it.
Yeah, right.
No,
I never did that one.
Yeah.
Lori did.
And it stayed too long.
Yeah.
They outwore their welcome.
I also got irritated because Rick's Appalachian accent was so fake. Like being from Appalachia, like it was offensive to me that he talked like that.
Right.
It was such a put on.
Oh, that's how I get with
couldn't
people with Maine accents.
Really?
Yeah.
When they're trying to put it on.
Yeah, and I'm like, come on, dude, just
Right,
don't.
right.
Just
But we did get those coral memes, which were pretty funny sometimes. Coral.
Oh yeah. Mike, what do you got? What are you geeking out about? What are you digging right now?
I'm gonna do a show as well. I feel like I'm the John the Baptist of this show, as far as spreading the word of the coming of the next best thing ever. Scavenger's Reign.
Oh, it was really great, yeah.
So
It's
good.
great, yeah.
And so, like, mostly there's other things I geek out about, but that one in particular, like, however many views this gets, please, for the love of God, watch Scavenger's Reign so we get a second season, because that's what God intended. It's what America intended.
What is it on?
I don't know.
That's Max.
Yeah, you're right.
Max. Okay.
Which is not a huge service.
Which brings to
really.
mind another one I had just watched, Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Mm.
Wow, was that fucking great.
I watched that
geeked the
in-
hell
I
out on
heard that was good.
I googled stuff like Scavenger's Reign, and I think just on the quality level, Blue-Eyed Samurai came up. It was really good too.
You still have yet to do Arcane. That second season's coming soon. It was really good. I don't know if you watched Arcane.
Yeah, I
it
did.
was really good.
That was amazing. I mean, if you like Arcane, did you watch the Cyberpunk show?
Yes, it did.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I didn't like it as well as Arcane, but it was good.
See, I'm a big Cyberpunk fan. I played the game last year. No, the year before. No, it was last year. Last year, you get the PlayStation. What you spent your most time on, and yeah, Cyberpunk was mine. It was like 500 hours.
Really?
I played.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Well, I played it like I played it.
There's that much content to get 500 hours out of that game?
Well, I played it and then I played it again and then I played it again.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. So it's like me playing Dark Souls 1 12 times.
Yeah. It was crazy. I really
looks
enjoyed
good.
that one.
I don't game, so I'm a Pokemon and Animal Crossing person.
Well, if you ever want a piece of that because they did very well on capturing, distilling what the game is, watch the Netflix show.
Oh yeah.
The Netflix show, it's only 10 episodes, and it's fantastic.
That's cool.
I did enjoy it. Arcane was better to me. Arcane was real good.
Arcane was really good, and the thing that I think that I'm hoping for in the future with Arcane was so good that other studios are going to imitate its art style and its presentation, and I'm afraid that
It is unique to everything else that's out there in terms of its art style.
I'm afraid that they're going to cheap out on it. But in the same respect, that's a way for Arcane to continue to make itself known. But yeah. So, I don't think there was anything else. Oh gosh, I didn't do mine.
Yeah, geek out.
I've just Final Fantasy VII Rebirth just came out, and I have been playing the crap out of that. Did you ever play Final Fantasy VII for PlayStation?
Of course I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Broke the clock on that game.
Yeah. So
Back in 1995.
yeah, exactly. So we had Remake that came out in 2020, and that was the first part of the game. The actual meat of the game is in the second part, and that's what just came out, and I can't play anything else.
They're gonna have to hurry up, man. It's gonna be like George R.R. Martin. We're never gonna get the end of that story.
I'm just hoping that the conclusion of this is going to be on this generation of PlayStation, because it's going to bum me out if it's on PlayStation 6.
And you have to buy it.
Yeah.
Just to get.
I mean, I'm going to buy it.
Just to get that resolution. I'm gonna buy it too. But
Yeah. I mean, I set aside $30 every paycheck for games, and so I saved all year for the PlayStation 5. So
Nice.
yeah.
Are you a guy that won't pay full price for a game?
No.
It really has to be something I really want to give them full price.
There is certain games that I will pre-order. Like I pre-ordered Final Fantasy VII. I pre-ordered God of War. I pre-ordered Spider-Man. But usually I will get them either on sale or wait till they hit their Plus subscription.
Right.
Because I had the mid-tier, though I don't know if I'm going to continue it because they upped the price for it.
They fucked that all up.
Yeah.
They fuck on this.
Yeah.
The way they retooled the PS Plus thing is, guys, just do what Xbox is doing. It's perfect.
But, well, the thing is, though, is Xbox, they're hemorrhaging money. They're losing studios. I mean, yes, they just bought Activision, but on the same vein, Toys for Bob, the company that made Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, they are not going with Activision. They bought themselves out, and they're not going to Xbox. And Xbox has already posted their financials in their board meeting, their shareholders meeting, and they did not make the bank that they thought they were going to.
Oh, damn.
So
Well, fuck them. I've never been an Xbox guy anyway.
Well,
I'm Sony loyal all the way.
I haven't been an Xbox guy. I did get Xbox Live so that I could play Starfield. You know how they referred to
Skyrim in space.
Bethesda as Bug-Thesda? Now it's Bland-Thesda.
Mhm.
I played that game and quickly wrote it off. It was, the most boring episodes of Expanse. It was still it still had that tension. Yeah, there's no tension. It's just bland. Oh.
I remember people being excited because I still try to keep up with it because my son's into gaming. But I remember everybody being really excited for Starfield, and then now like the posts about
Everybody
it.
just wants Elder Scrolls 6, and if they're gonna bland it, do probably.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but mid Skyrim, actually no, after Fallout 4, when they came out with Fallout 76, they started losing the magic. But in Fallout 76 is an interesting game.
It's interesting. It's just released broken.
But it's interesting because of the area that they decided to put it in.
Yeah,
Where
right.
West Virginia.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it is cool, and there was a lot of cool things. You probably haven't. Have you seen Fallout 76 at all?
No, Cohen had the one before that.
Okay, Helvetia is almost 1-to-1.
What?
Yeah, it's really cool. In fact, Helvetia itself, they did a Foshnot event, and so that actually brought me back to the game for about 6 months.
Nice.
So I had a buddy to play with it. I enjoyed it, but
I'd be more interested in the documentary of the making of Fallout 76, where they sent out all of their researchers and scouts and designers and whatnot to go catalog all of that to build the game than I would be in playing the game.
yeah.
Some footage of them stopping at their first Go Mart south of Clarksburg.
No, Circle K.
There.
How many hot dog stands are in this game?
Actually, you know what? I think there was a Dairy Marts were still a thing when 76 came out.
Yeah. The old Dairy Mart Stromboy.
Are there hot dogs in Fallout 76?
There better be. It's West Virginia.
I mean, come on.
They have pepperoni rolls.
Oh,
they
that's
do
fair,
have pepperoni
fair
rolls.
enough. Yeah.
So I was happy about that.
That would trump the hot dog situation. For
Yeah.
In terms of uniqueness, yeah. Everybody's got hot dogs the world over.
Yeah. Hot.
Sure. Oh my god.
Hot dog stands with hot dog sauce is in West Virginia, in Fairmont, West Virginia. In Fairmont, West Virginia, like mushrooms after a bad rain. It's just, they're everywhere. And
Mushrooms after a bad rain. I've never heard that before.
that's why I if I'm gonna go for a hot dog with sauce, I'm gonna go to Yan's.
I gotta wait.
Because that's the one.
Good.
Because that one is at least more unique than because all of them are mostly the same, but that one's a little bit different.
It is different. It does hit different.
Yeah. You want to have that fight with me? Woody's is better.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
To diffuse that argument, I go to Hometown because they make their own ranch and they have French fries. Like if you're
not there for the hot dog.
Any hot dog place could have French fries and a real ranch, and I'd be like, yes, sir, I'll have two, please.
Truthfully, if I'm where I end up getting hot dogs more often though is TNL because I really like their Coney Island.
Oh, and they also have fries and real ranch.
Yeah.
There's just not one in town.
Just don't put
Well, Cassie's grandmother, when we go down, we'll stop at TNL, get a 12 dog, and then I'll get the Coney Island, and then we'll get fries. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Hot dogs.
hot dog.
Hot dog. Have you seen my hot dog? I mean, it's
It's a rough
an
day
Emma
for my
Stone.
hot dog.
It's an Emma Stone reference, not my personal hot dog.
Hey!
All right. This was fun. Thanks for that. So this has been RGCWV, Random Geek Culture in West Virginia. I was your host, Luke Hersey. I was with Michael Stewart and Todd Ryder and the FM. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to do more in-person stuff like this more often. And if you like this, leave me a comment, subscribe, do the things. In fact, actually, if you didn't like it, leave me a comment how much you didn't like it because the algorithm likes interaction. So, whatever. It's fine. Somebody else will watch it.
And also go check out the R record.
Oh yeah, the FM.
Yeah. Go check out FM. And actually, when I put this on Spotify, I can actually link your album to the podcast.
Oh, cool. Right
So-
on. Thanks.
So, anyway, thank you for watching. Welcome to the end.